The relationship of the note values to each other, as well in NOTUS notation as in conventional notation, is always double or half. Here a scheme which shows this double or half relationship. Let's assume that a whole note value lasts 4 seconds. Well, in that case, the next smaller note value, which is a half note, lasts 2 seconds. This means that playing 2 half notes takes the same time as playing a whole note. And the next smaller note value, which is a quarter note, takes 1 second. So, 4 quarter notes take as long as 2 half notes or 1 whole note. Now follows an eighth note, which will take half a second. So, 8 eighth notes take as much time as 4 quarter notes, 2 half notes, or 1 whole note. You see, all these note values have a double or half relationship. Now, the question arises, how in our example a note is notated that lasts 3 seconds? Well, by adding up 2 note values. In our example, the combination of a half note and a quarter note will last 3 seconds. Is this addition of note values notated like this? Not really. In Nodus, the addition of 2 or more note values is noted with a gray elbow line, connecting a black note with 1 or more gray notes. This is the Nodus tie. In this example, a half note lasting 2 seconds is linked to a quarter note lasting 1 second. The total of this tie is therefore 3 seconds. The gray color is a symbol for do not play that note. Just add the note value to the note value of the black note. Also note that the bound notes have the same pitch. Of course, each note value can be tied to each other note value. In this way, a lot of new note values are created. Here's some more examples. But why is the Nodus tie so much better than the tie in conventional notation? Let's look at a more complex example in conventional notation. Here, there are 6 ties and 1 legato bow. A legato bow above a group of notes means that these notes are played fluently one after the other, in one movement. Remark that the overall form of the legato bow is the same as the tie, despite a different meaning. This can confuse. Furthermore, there is no difference in look between the basic note and the tied note. They are both black. Therefore, beginners often play the tied note as well. Now, let's compare the example in both notation systems one below the other. NOTUS notation has a serious visual difference between the legato bow and the tie. In NOTUS, pupils see immediately which notes to play and how long they last. In NOTUS, there is no longer confusion or hesitation. There is a second way to change the relationship of double or half between the note values by the use of tuplets. This is an example of the normal double or half relationship. 2 eighth notes last as long as 1 quarter note. And this is a tuplet. 3 eighth notes should last as long as 1 quarter note. So, here the double or half relationship is broken. Arithmetical, the eighth notes of the tuplet are no longer eighth notes, they last shorter. But there is no musical term or symbol for such notes. How to notate this new relationship? Well, above the notes, which together make up the tuplet, the note value is notated that the playing of the tuplet may last. This is a tuplet with the specific name. Triplet. This tuplet has a 3:2 ratio. This means that 3 eighth notes are played in the time of 2 eighth notes, which is the same of a quarter note. Playing the 3 eighth notes may take only a quarter note. This is indicated by the small quarter note above the 3 notes of the triplet. Some more examples of tuplets. The NOTUS notation of tuplets is practical, because it is known how much note value time it may take to play the tuplet. Below some examples of the conventional notation of tuplets. A number above the group of notes only indicates the number of notes of the tuplet, but does not indicate the time available to play that group of notes. As a result, the conventional notation of tuplets is not clear, and not practical. In conventional notation, the musician is often required to analyze both the measure and the tuplet beforehand, to know the note value in which the tuplet is to be played. There are two kinds of repeats. The first are immediate repeats. This is when a fragment, which has been played for the first time, is repeated immediately for the second time. In Nodus this is notated with the repeat fragment sign. This sign has two parts. First, the start repeat fragment sign. And second, the end repeat fragment sign. Here they are. This Nodus sign replaces this sign in conventional notation. You probably notice the letter R in the end repeat fragment sign. This letter R, in Nodus signs, is the overall recognition of immediate repeats. So, if you see an R in a sign, you always have to deal with an immediate repeat. That's easy. How to read and apply an immediate repeat. First, you play till the end repeat fragment sign, ignoring the start repeat fragment sign. Then you return to the start repeat fragment. Now, play the fragment for the second time, and go on, ignoring the end repeat fragment sign. We want to draw your attention to the fact that there are more Nodus immediate repeat signs, but this one is the most used. Secondly, are the delayed repeats. This is when a fragment which has been played for the first time, is repeated somewhere else in the score. In Nodus this is notated with the section signs. The section signs consist of three parts. First, the start section sign and the end section sign together define the fragment of music to be repeated. And secondly, the section reference sign indicates the spot in the score, where the replay must be played. Delayed repeats are recognized by the letter S in the signs. So, if you see an S in a sign, you always have to deal with a delayed repeat. That's also easy. How to read and apply a delayed repeat. Play the score till the section reference sign, ignoring both the start and end section signs. Then, you jump back to the start section sign. You play the musical fragment till the end section sign. Then you jump to the section reference sign. And continue to play the remaining score after the section reference sign. This one Nodus notation of delayed repeats replaces several conventional notations with strange signs in Italian words to memorize. Look here. These difficult notations are no longer used in Nodus notation. Let's summarize the Nodus repeats. First, the Nodus immediate repeat. And here the Nodus delayed repeat. Nothing more. Isn't that great and easy in Nodus? This is the conventional Fermata sign. Nodus has taken it over, because it's a good sign that is well known under musicians. Notated above or below a note, it means that this note can be prolonged as desired. But within the musicality of the piece, of course. It is most used at the end of a musical phrase, or at the end of a piece, like in this easy example. In the 20th century, a lot of composers began to use variations on the sign, to give a hint for the desired prolongation. A short prolongation, or a long prolongation, etc. Here you see the most used variations in conventional notation. Yes, quite a mess. There is not much logic in it, and the signs have to be memorized to use them. Nodus doesn't like this. So, Nodus uses a more logical system. Nodus adds logical visual elements to the basic element, to give an indication about the desired prolongation of the note value. For example, a fermata with an horizontal line at the right, indicates a long fermata. In proportion to its length, it becomes a rather short, long fermata. Or a very long fermata. These are logical additions to the basic sign. Because of the returning basic element, it has become one great family, wherein each member is immediately recognized as one of the fermatas. That's easy to learn. Here you see the entire family of Nodus fermatas. The comma fermata. The short fermata. The basic fermata. The long fermata. The time fermata. The pedal fermata. The meeting point fermata with synchronization point. The fade-out fermata. These signs notated between the outer lines of the octave anchor are the Nodus general pause signs. Their symbolic meaning in connection with the duration of the general break is the same. Because of this, No new meaning has to be learned. Conventional notation does not have this refinement of the general pause signs. There are far more innovations and corrections in NOTUS Music Notation. Nodus is fully fledged, and for all instruments, all levels, and all ages.